start this vlog all over yet again. Maybe this time I won't start rambling about things and end up talking about a subject that probably shouldn't be talked about anyway, but here we go. So I live in Bowling Green, Virginia, which is about, I don't know, 20 or so miles south of Fredericksburg, Virginia, and probably close to 50 miles north of Richmond, or roundabout there. And the way I ended up here is I was on active duty in the middle. I was in the Army for 20 years. Prior to that, I was an Army brat, and so moving around is not new to me. So I was stationed at Fort Gordon, Georgia, which is in Augusta, Georgia, and put in my retirement paperwork. Now, granted, my father also retired at that military base back in 1978, so I've lived in Augusta for a while, and finally got stationed there before I retired. But when you start to retire from the military and you have bills, you kind of start panicking when you don't immediately find a job. I did a little double dipping, which is what we call, I had 64 days of vacation saved up in the military, and I took it when I got out. So I was still drawing a military active duty paycheck for 2 months, but I was technically on vacation, almost retired. A friend of mine who got out several years before I did, started his own business, hired me temporary as a contractor to go to Germany, and I think I was over there for almost 3 weeks. I went to a satellite communications facility and assisted them in writing an SOP, or a standard of operation manual. That was an easy job. So the double dip came in because he was paying me $260 a day, and he was providing lodging and per diem and a rental car for me. So that was a nice little vacation and a fun little trip for me, and I made quite a bit of money doing it. But I came back, and that was in the middle of November, and I had another full month. The whole month of December was my last active duty paycheck. Well, once that paycheck stops, you do get retirement. You get a pension from the military. That's about 50% pre-tax of what you make on active duty. But I have an ex-wife who gets a portion of that. So, and it's not a hell of a lot of money, but it's not bad. I mean, really, you consider it's money that I earned, and I get it every month. I mean, it'd be a lot better if she didn't get a portion of it, but it's neither here nor there. So you start panicking because you haven't found a job, and you need to find a job making X amount of money to survive and maintain the lifestyle that you previously had. So I had a friend of mine who was living up here in Virginia, in Manassas, Virginia, and he asked me for a copy of my resume, which I sent to him, and he was kind enough to print it on some really high-end paper. And when he would travel and to other companies for his job, if there was a position there, or if it was a company that had kind of stuff that I would be qualified to do, he would give them a copy of my resume. Well, he is actually working for a company, and came down to the company that I'm currently working for, and told me, he gave them my resume. He said, "Ron, you need to call these people. You need to work here. These people are awesome. You'd fit right in." So on the 5th of December, now I can't remember. I don't remember if it was in December that I came up here for the interview, or it was in January, but that might have been January. So came up, I flew up on Independence Air. It cost me like $99 to fly up here round trip, which is pretty cool. I think that airlines are no longer active. And interesting enough, they hired me and my friend the same day. He wasn't even there to get a job, but they hired him. And so we both started working for the same company, which was pretty cool. And I bought a house here 2 years after I moved, and unfortunately for me, I bought it in 2007, and it, you know, houses were not increasing in value at that time, so I was a little upside down on my house. I think now I might be almost even, but we don't want that. You want your house to be worth more than you owe on it. Because my goal was to, you know, you can buy a house here in Virginia for, I'm just going to throw a random number out there, let's just say $100,000. The equivalent house, neighborhood, square footage, etc. and farther south, I mean like South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, that area down there, would probably cost you $50,000. So, you know, I had these golden aspirations of, I'm gonna buy a house here, sell it when I get ready to leave or retire for good, have a pocket full of money, move down to Florida, pay cash for a house, and still have some of that money left over in the bank. Well, you know, the market's got to change for me before that can happen. But anyway, that's how I ended up here in Virginia. My entire family, except for my youngest son, lives in Georgia. I have an uncle in Tennessee, and I have an aunt and 2 cousins and their kids out in Oklahoma. And that's pretty much the extent of my family and how I ended up in the place I am living right now. So I have lived in many different places, of course, you know, being a military brat and then joined in the military myself, and majority of my life was spent in and around the military. So a lot of traveling around, a lot of moving around, a lot of making new friends, a lot of different schools, a lot of different jobs, so to speak. So how did you end up living where you are and the job you have? If you got a quick story, jot it down in the comments below. If it's a long story, hell, I don't care. Write a book down there. I'll read it. I'm really interested in other people's lives. I'm interested in people. I like socializing. And yeah, so I'll end that vlog right here. Maybe it all recorded. Maybe it doesn't sound like a raging idiot, and I'll upload it and have a vlog posted. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I hope everybody is safe, and have a good one. Later.